Hello, I am Belkis from Kütahya. I am 33 years old now. I was only 19 years old when the incident that turned my life into a nightmare occurred. My uncle's daughter Asid, who lived in a small village in Tafsensel, one of the districts of Kütahya, was 25 years old. She had been engaged for a long time and was finally getting married. Since they lived in the village, it was not a modern wedding, but a country wedding full of much more fun. Tables were set, families gathered, drinks were drunk and dances were performed. I was also showing off all my skills on the track. My brother Furkan and I realized that we were stuck for a while. I told Furkan that we should go to the trees ahead and pee. He should watch around while I was peeing and I would do the same. While he was peeing, Furkan was 18 years old and he was more stuck than me. While Furkan was urinating under the tree, I watched around. Then he finished his work, and since I was a girl, I moved to a gap in the bushes in a more hidden spot. While peeing, a chill and a tremor suddenly came. My body literally went cold. I immediately gathered my clothes and left with Furkan and went to the wedding area. The hour was getting late. It was approaching 1:30. The adults were still having fun while Asueda and her husband retired to their home to have their first night. Some adults were still drinking. We returned with my family to my grandmother's house where we stayed in the village. I was lying on the floor bed. It was a small house. In the morning I felt the cover over me being pulled down to my feet. I thought Furkan was joking and pulled the covers over me again. It was as cold as winter inside. On a summer day I tried to warm up and fell asleep. That night I had nightmares until the morning. In the morning, Assad's mother came to us for breakfast that day. Furkan also had nightmares. He told me that we played games with girls my age all day long and returned home in the evening. After family conversations, I retired to my room. I was just trying to sleep when I felt the covers on me being pulled down to my feet again. But it wasn't just the cover that was taken away. This time the pajamas I was wearing were being pulled by a force I didn't know about, and the weight on me as if it were being torn. I wanted to scream, but I couldn't make a sound. I could only see a silhouette above me. He had me over and over again that night. This being I didn't know had taken my virginity. The sheet was covered in blood. In the morning I secretly put the sheet in a bag and threw it into a wall at the back of the village. I couldn't tell anyone what happened. They wouldn't believe me. There was a boy I met in Kütahya, Ali. They thought I was doing this with him and punished me. And I was only 19 years old. Day after day, these rapes continued almost every night. Now I had to tell this to someone and get rid of these terrible events. I decided to talk to my mom. When I told my mother, she went crazy. She asked why I didn't tell him about this at the first moment and slapped me. Then he took Asid's mom by the hand and took her to the old lady Makbul, who lived outside the village and whom no one liked very much. Makbul. Hanum's house was dirty and rusty inside. There was a heavy smell of animal fat, incense, and strange writings and shapes on the walls that I didn't recognize. He made me sit on the ground and put a bowl of water in front of us. He asked me to put my hand in the water. He put his own hand on my forehead. Suddenly I started shaking. She started shouting, "Oh my God, oh my God." When my mother asked what happened, she said she was haunted by demons from such and such a clan and they married her daughter to one of them. We were all shocked. My mother asked if it was possible to get rid of this and how this happened. Miss Makbul said, "One night your daughter went and urinated on their table in the dark while they were going to kill her there. The others did not interfere when one of them paid her dues and married her. He wants to have children with his daughter," she said. My mother, Asid's mother, and I were literally breathless. To get rid of this, he made a small cut on my wrist and soaked my blood in a cloth. He asked me about the bloody sheet and I told him that I threw it into the wall. He called his son, sent him to the wall, and brought my bloody sheet. He tied 2 clothes together and set them both on fire, reciting words I didn't know. I was suddenly filled with peace. I have not experienced this incident since that day. The baby in my womb was stillborn. The gender of the baby was male, but its face did not resemble any human baby. Instead of burying him, they burned him. After my father learned about this incident, he took us as a family from Kataha and migrated to Manisa. We live there now. I married another young man. I'm happy now, even though I have nightmares from time to time. I'm expecting a baby again,